Safe and sound at home again. Let the waters roar, Jack. Safe and sound at home again. Let the waters roar, Jack. Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate. Folly, rolly, 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 rido.
Welcome to Political Society's Open Forum. I am Amby Tierney. Today I'm joined by John Keenan, Jack Fechter, Marcus Rowland, and Niels Erlandson. Today, we're going to be discussing the results of the election. Donald J. Trump is now going to be the President of the United States, starting on January 20th. John Keenan, the resident Trump supporter, how do you feel about your stunning victory?
I couldn't be more proud of my candidate, as it were. You know, I thought he was going to win, but I didn't think he would get over 270, which now it's looking he'll be around
That's what you need
300.
to win.
The election
No,
was
I meant.
stolen.
I'm
though.
sorry, I meant over 280. My bad.
The election was stolen, though. She won the popular vote. It was just more of the electoral college.
I would disagree.
But
I think the electoral college is a great system.
I
the
think
people who
what it
made-
comes down to here is whether you support the will of the people or the system.
Yeah, but
In judging Trump's comments, I find it surprising that you would enforce the system.
Well, the electoral
broken,
college.
rigged system.
he
Well,
was
I'm-
right about it being
Called
rigged.
Well, it's rigged against Trump. The Electoral College was designed to stop demagogues. And what is Trump? Trump
I
is a
did.
demagogue.
So
So
it's very true.
Well, it helped
I
him.
would argue he broke the system rather
Well, it
than
helped
he,
him.
he
Yeah,
used it.
they made the system to stop the people from directly electing somebody. So like it's not the system.
We're a
Then
democracy.
who is
but I
supposed
think
to
I
elect
think the
somebody?
Democratic argument that Hillary should be president because she won the popular vote is just that you're just like.
But we're a
that's just
Isn't it
democracy.
of
That's
the-
how
Okay,
it's supposed
we're
to
actually-
work.
Isn't
First
it
of all,
of the people
we're
for the
a
people? Should the
constitutional
people not choose
democratic
the leader?
republic. Second of all, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, a pure democracy is like two wolves and a lamb voting on what to eat for dinner, okay? Pure democracies fail. That's proven throughout history. Though we have a democratic system in place, but
Yeah, but we're a
Not
government
full
of the people,
Yeah.
by the people, and for the people.
Yeah.
If you just disconclude the people, then what's the point of having
But
a
you're not.
government?
you're
It's
not,
not.
it's still democratic.
Yeah, it's not that the people are completely taken away. It's just
And
it's just the
even
U.S.
with-
system of
Just,
safety
400,000
valves.
Really?
people
No,
don't count
listen.
as
No,
Even
it's just the
without
US system of
the
safety
electoral
valves that
college,
would, like,
it's
stop-
still a representative democracy because we choose leaders. The president, Congress, we choose them. We shouldn't have a system to choose them. It's the
I mean,
people.
the people also chose the electors to go to the college. If
What?
you think about it, the people in each state chose which party's electors they're going to send to the electoral college,
Yes, but
and the majority of people in states.
yeah, but it
sent
makes certain people,
Republican
certain states' electors worth more than other states' electors.
Because it protects small states so people won't just go campaigning out in big cities.
Yeah. Also,
That-
we didn't have any. There was no faithless electors in the election. So I think if even if Democratic electors were like that enraged about it,
Well, technically, they haven't yet picked the candidate. The electors convene. I think it's December, sometime.
Vague date.
And
Well-
John claims that if there was no electoral college, candidates would just go around to the big cities. Marcus,
But
Do you have anything to
that's
say
what
about
happens
that?
That's not
because
true,
of the
but there are more
electoral
people in
college.
those big cities, and all you need to win.
And then-
and all you
Who
need
has
to win in
ever
individual states are
really
large
No.
cities as
visited,
well.
say,
No, but then again,
Delaware? Who
listen to
visits Delaware?
well,
No, because it's not a swing
They-
state. Who visits New Hampshire?
the vo-
Everyone.
the thing is, though,
the
only
votes
10% of
in-
Americans live in cities.
So why should the vote somewhere
Yeah, but so they would still have to
vote
then
matter
campaign
more
outside of
or
those
less
cities.
than
That's what I'm
someone
trying to
else's
say.
so
vote
your
somewhere
argument.
else?
So your argument is saying
We are
that.
all equal.
So your
Shouldn't our
argument saying.
government represent that?
So your argument saying that Hillary should win because she had 400,000 more votes, but only like 50-something% of the population actually voted in the election. So if you're going to do a true popular
Well, you
vote,
have to discount the people who can't.
but if
vote,
you're going to
so
do a
the-
true
the
popular vote,
non-
wouldn't you need 100% of the people to actually
Yeah.
vote?
So what are you going to mandate people to vote?
No, I'm
Is that
asking
gonna
you.
let them
I'm
discount
asking
it?
you. I'm
That,
saying
that works for Brazil.
I'm saying the electoral college system works, and you're saying that it's like the 400,000 votes. But if only 50-something% of people voted,
Okay.
then that's the 400,000 doesn't matter.
Well, it's you're making it harder, or the people can choose to vote, but the people that do choose to vote, whose votes have been discounted, you're like and alienating them from the process.
That is just not true.
I mean,
The Electoral
This is
College is
beyond it.
51 individual Democratic primaries to choose their state's representatives to go and vote in the Electoral College. If the Electoral College protects the minority from the majority, that's why it was designed, and that's what it does.
It was Trump's gonna end up with something like upwards of 290, maybe even 300 something
Yeah.
votes. So like, he won by a huge margin.
He won
Yeah.
by a huge margin amongst the states.
That
he
shouldn't
didn't win
be
the popular
possible
vote.
with the popular vote going for Clinton. If such a landslide victory can happen in the electoral vote, but it's not reflected in the people, I mean, it calls for some kind of change. This is beyond whether Clinton or Trump gets elected. It's the fact that no matter what, it's the people who choose how they are ruled.
Well, the Democrats had the ability to do that in 2008 when they controlled all the state legislatures, when they controlled the government. They didn't. And this has happened before. This has happened in
You think
2000.
I'm going to support that because I'm a Democrat? I disagree with
Well,
how
why
they didn't
didn't
do
they?
that. They should have.
Well, the Republicans should now do the same.
Well, I do not.
They control all
I
the
do
state
not know
legislatures,
why.
We had
Congress.
two-thirds,
They would not
two-thirds
do
of the
that.
state legislatures, and the Republicans only have 30.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah.
Wasn't 30?
Now, some states do something like Maine and Nebraska,
That's a
where
much better system.
where they don't apportion delegates based on population. There's the two state.
Yeah, but it breaks down the electoral votes over a smaller or like a more precise.
I mean, it's
voting.
better than many other states, but at the same time, it's not as good as one vote, one
Yeah.
person.
That would be the.
Well, how
Everyone was equal. Everyone had a say.
how do
Of
you
the people, for the people. It's what our country was built on.
how do you fix the system, compromising and keeping the electoral college?
I'm not sure you would be able to compromise on the situation with keeping the electoral college the way it is at the moment, because I believe I'm right in speaking
I
for
mean-
Niels that we're calling for the complete removal of the electoral college system.
I mean, if anyone should decide who leads,
So
it should be us,
But
the people.
I
Well-
think, let's be honest here. If Clinton won the electoral college but lost the popular vote, you guys would be arguing the opposite position. Whereas I am
You
in
assume
favor of
much.
the electoral college. I'm in favor of it. Just because of the belief that I think the minority needs protection against the majority. So,
I think
What
you
did-
have switched your position a lot. I mean,
how?
before you were talking about the silent majority, how the majority
You were
should
talking about
be
how
in
rigged
charge,
the election was with
and
Donald
how the
Trump
system
saying
was
that.
rigged. And now you're
it's-
saying the system, yeah, the system's fine.
I'm not
and
saying it's fine. I'm
We
saying
should protect minorities against the evil majority.
Okay, no, I never thought that the system itself was rigged. I thought that the polling was rigged. That's what I argued because they oversampled Democrats, and it's true. Trump won by Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, where he was down by 2, 5, and even 11 points.
yeah,
well,
but
did
that-
the
There's
polling
always mistakes in
oversample
the polls.
Democrats, or did they just not factor in the Brexit effect?
They didn't. I think it's a little bit both. I think there's evidence in some polls that they oversampled Democrats, and then evidence that they just had no idea
Or did they
that
sample?
so many rule or vote.
Or did they sample the same number of Democrats and Republicans, and only the Democrats respond to the polls? This data is hard to.
It's
pinpoint.
not.
And there's
It's
always mistakes
proportional.
in the polls.
Yeah, but the people have to respond to the polls for a decision to be made about that poll.
If someone who is said to be a Republican doesn't answer the poll, then they'll find another one who will. So I don't know what you're arguing.
He's arguing that Republicans don't pick up their phones when they call.
I would disagree.
I gotta agree with John on that.
I don't
one.
even-
I'd say that Republican voters tend to be older, and older people are the people who tend to have house phones that get called.
But I think even other than the polls, I think that it was the way that Hillary won was just that she miscalculated pretty much everything. Like it was hers to win.
Well, Hillary
um,
should
you
have
mean-
won that.
She should have won, but
Hillary
she
Hillary
should've won.
outspent
She
Donald
didn't.
Trump 2-1.
Yeah.
And when you look at the individual numbers, that number seems
And,
a lot greater.
she
She had such a better organization. She had so much more
The ground game.
ground game, individual local groups, big groups, super PACs,
Yeah.
and she had
Surrogates.
She got
surrogates. She had so many celebrities.
I
She
think
had
she
a
just-
much better get out the vote operation.
She
Donald
got
Trump had-
greedy. She wanted
none
to
of that.
expand the field. She went to places
I
like
don't know.
Arizona and
I don't know if she got
She
greedy.
notoriously
I don't know.
red
I don't know if she
states.
got greedy
And
as
she
much as
neglected base states like Wisconsin and Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know if she got greedy as much as she just took stuff for granted. She thought that she would get all the same votes that Obama did back in 2008, and she like was just expecting that she would get the same majority of like the black vote and like the minority vote, but in like states like
She didn't get the
Florida.
Michigan, yeah, Florida, for example, like the black vote just didn't come out to help Hillary in this election as much as she thought it would.
And
the youth vote
also,
or the Hispanic vote.
Yeah, none of the
Trump
votes
actually did
went in her
really well with
favor.
the Hispanic vote in Florida
Well,
because you've got the Cuban Americans.
Yeah, he
Trump,
did better
Trump
than
did,
Romney.
Trump did better than Romney, but he didn't do well with Hispanics.
Cubans
Yeah.
do not typically consider themselves Hispanic. I do not believe.
As a general like
As a general.
as a general
statement.
demographic, Cubans or anyone who's was part of like the Spanish Empire or the French Empire, or sorry, not the French Empire.
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yeah, the either the Iberian empires, those are considered Hispanics.
Yeah, I
Yeah, but consider themselves. Do they consider themselves Hispanic?
Well, do Mexican Americans consider themselves Latino over Mexican Americans? It's
I think that the real like swing factor in the vote though, like other than Hillary not getting the black vote, I think that women were really like the difference in the election because Trump did get he got something up to like 90% of Republican women voted for Trump.
Yeah.
It was, like he got crazy amounts of women vote, which was completely unexpected before this.
He beat Hillary among women actually.
Yeah,
white women.
White women,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I'd be disingenuous.
But
to
if you
say.
look at it now, all the white men everywhere are like the people who are panicking about like if you go and talk to people.
Well,
it's-
it's more of like back to what John was saying last episode about like a vocal majority.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, overpinning the silent majority.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting.
Also, I just wanted to add, I think one of Hillary Clinton's downfall reasons why she lost was because of her email scandal. I think that put up a huge red flag for a lot of Republican and independent voters.
But
I
nothing
really think
criminal
that-
was found out about
I really
that.
think that anyone
Yeah,
who
I don't think-
considered the emails a big factor were people who just didn't want Hillary to win no matter what.
Yeah, I think
Nothing conclusive was ever found.
I think the emails
But do you think
and
that
James
she
Comey.
didn't do something wrong? Do you,
I
I think
think it was
it
extreme
was a
negligence.
It is a
but
mistake
like I don't think
to
it
use
was
a
nothing
private email server.
illegal or anything bad has become
there was
of it so far.
classified information.
Yeah, but
on
nothing.
But she
uh,
was not sending it to people who it shouldn't have been sent to.
I think John's concern is that it was being kept in like an unsafe way.
Yeah, I think it wasn't like the extent of what she did. I think it was just the fact that she did it. Like it's not how far she went. It's just that she did get a private email server. It did happen, and like
And then she lied about it.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't think that she purposely did it. I think it was just like it was part of the transition. They were transitioning to like the government has the email server
Mhm.
rather than a private one, and she didn't she wasn't paying attention enough to make that switch over.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to apologize for Hillary, but I just think that's what happened.
No, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I think people kind of blew it up. I do think Trump supporters kind of like latched onto it as a like a big issue. I think actually the Clinton Foundation's a bigger deal than
Yeah.
the email scandal.
I feel like the email scandal did nothing for the election. People that already hated her just hated her more because.
But if you
of
look
the
at
email
when they
scandal.
released it,
I think
If
it
you
got out the base. That's what.
No, I think
I
it was a
also-
big deal because if you look at it, when they cleared Hillary of the email like 2 weeks ago, and they said like they didn't find anything, the stock markets all like went up, expecting Hillary to win by a lot. Like everything pushed towards Hillary just winning in like a landslide.
Well,
after
doesn't
that.
that show
Yes,
how
yes,
they would
Donald
have
Trump
liked
won
Hillary
the
winning in Wall
Dow
Street
started
as well?
tanking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at it, I think Wall Street now actually is happy that Trump won.
Yeah,
because
Wall
the
Street's
stock
having
market,
its best days.
the stock market
since-
keeps going up
Yeah,
like crazy amounts.
I don't feel like Wall Street would have been sad either way this election.
Yeah, but I do think it is. Wall Street's probably happier that Trump won because of like the cutting regulation and
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, what I think happened is as the results were coming in, Wall Street's like, oh my gosh, Trump's gonna win. We didn't calculate this. Sell
Yeah.
everything. And then
In the
when
morning they were
they were
fine
like,
with
oh,
it.
the sun came up.
Yeah, and then
As
it went up like
President
300
Obama
points
said.
that day.
Well, as markets go, when things are down, people buy, and that's probably just triggered a
Well, it
buying
was never.
cycle.
It wasn't
But if-
open for when it was.
Yeah, but
done.
if you look at like Brexit though, like that overnight, they
Yeah.
lost. They continued to lose for like an extended period of time. But by the time the market opened, it was already going up like hundreds of points.
Well,
But
that's
then
because
someone must have done the math. And
no
Yeah,
real
that's fine.
change in policy has been made yet. Brexit was a huge change in policy.
Well, it hasn't happened
it
yet.
hasn't happened,
Yeah.
and it still might
True,
not.
but
Yeah, it hasn't
it's,
happened yet
we
either.
know definitely that it's going to happen.
I don't
We
know.
do not
I
feel
know
like
for
it
sure.
won't- I
We
feel
don't-
like it might not
know
actually
what's gonna
happen.
We don't know anything.
I don't
about
think it's
Brexit.
gonna happen.
Like we might not know if Trump carries out on his policy agenda.
Yeah,
This,
exactly.
Yeah.
this stuff is.
We don't
We
actually
don't
know
know
what,
if the
half
Trump
of
we
it's
saw
policy.
during
yeah, we don't
elections
actually know
that
what
Trump,
Trump
we're
is
gonna
gonna
get.
do.
We
I
don't
don't-
actually know half.
He hasn't
of
actually
Trump's
told.
listen to this.
He hasn't actually
Listen to
told
this.
anybody what he's gonna do.
I think
It's a secret.
that the
He's going
point,
to make America
ISIS
great
can't know.
again.
It's gonna make stuff bigger.
How, we don't know.
listen. I think the fact that Trump was able to win and just not give that much details out about his policies is a godsend for the Republicans in Congress and the House that want to pass all these things to do all these major policy changes that Trump talked about a little bit. Like he said he was going to do this,
Yep.
but he doesn't know how.
Yep.
So I think the people on Capitol Hill are
So it's leaving out the
celebrating.
decisions to the Republican Party in Congress to make, because he doesn't have any concrete decisions at this point.
No,
Well,
that's not what I'm
That's
saying.
how the founding fathers like envisioned the Constitution. The Congress
No, I
sets
mean, like,
policy.
with-
and the
I'm
president
not
Yeah.
saying that he has. Trump has a lot of overbridging ideas. It's just he doesn't know all the small details. I
Yeah.
will give you that.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of his strengths rather
I mean,
than a
there,
weakness.
there's a lot of big details missing too. Like, for a lot of his suggestions, you have to ask yourself, how? How
Yeah.
are we going to build a wall? How are we going to get Mexico to pay for it?
How are we gonna
Why
pay
would
for
Mexico
anything?
pay for it?
Well, the
Oh, and-
Mexican
and-
president said he was already willing to work
And
with
Mexico
Donald Trump
can't
recently.
pay for
Also
it
the-
now because the peso's
That's
not
Yeah,
working.
the
this-
peso dropped like 10%.
That's
when he
not
won.
the same as saying, yeah, we're going to pay for the wall. We're going to pick up the bill.
And also, I think he could do something similar to what his plan is to try and bring in the money from overseas, like how he's going to just propose a 10% one-time bring your money in tax, and he would use the revenue from that to help rebuild America's infrastructure, and then I think some of that could also go to the wall, and then Congress could also find the other half if Mexico does not.
Well,
pay.
Congress
While
sets the
cutting
budget and
taxes
the tax plan
and
itself.
removing
Yeah.
the debt.
Well, except Trump doesn't control the tax plan or what the budget would be. Congress does.
You can make
ultimate
a
control of it.
suggestion,
Yeah, and then they can immediately set fire to that book.
I do
That's
think
right.
but they're not.
I do
They
think
haven't
they're-
done it for Obama.
I
so
do
why
think
would
the
they do it?
Republican Party, for at least the next 2 years, has pretty much just the like blank canvas to pretty much just
can do
pass.
anything
They
they
want. They can just pass anything they want for the next 2 years.
Well, they're gonna have to avoid what happens when parties get
Overreaching.
Yeah, like
overreaching.
Obama. And then, and then
a
you
lot of
lose
times,
the,
a lot of times parties
yeah.
like disintegrate in their unity when they have too much power.
Or you do like Obama, and you can go too far left too fast, and then you lose the House
Yeah,
midway in.
yeah. Or it could be like the conservatives in Britain, where, like one faction splits and supports Brexit, one doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I say if the Republican controlled Washington somehow manages to get in such a fix, it wouldn't exactly do wonders for their approval ratings.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean?
If they were to,
And I say, if for the first time in quite a while, Washington's completely controlled by one party, it should be working.
they should be able to
Smoothly.
get something done, which
Oh.
would be a first.
The
But-
last time one party controlled everything was 2009, right? Yes.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the,
It
in
was
the,
the
in the
first
election of
year of Obama.
2010,
Yeah.
the Republicans took the House back, and they've had it since.
But I think Republicans are going to be very careful about what they do and how fast they're going to do it because they don't want what happened to the Democrats in 2010 to happen to them.
Yeah, I don't think they're just gonna go on a crazy spree of like
Pass bill,
passing,
pass bill, pass
passing
bill.
bills, but I do think they're gonna like repeal Obamacare.
Yeah.
They're gonna do like all the things they've been talking about for like
Things that are high in public opinion.
yeah, because they've been wanting to do things for the last like 8 years, and then they haven't been able to do anything.
They
and so then
haven't,
now-
they haven't done anything in 18 months. Which
Exactly.
would be nice
Set
to
us
see
back
something done.
to square one
What do you mean?
with with working with climate change.
Were we
and
not at
gender-
square one?
Yeah,
I mean, we
climate
hadn't
change-
done anything for climate change.
Yeah, climate
so-
change was more
Withdrawing us from the
speculative.
Paris Agreement. He promised to do that.
He wants to dissolve NATO. Yeah.
I don't think the Paris. I don't think anything was going to come with the Paris Agreement.
Doesn't he want to
certainly
give
not
the
for
Baltic
Vietnam.
states over to Russia and let
That
Ukraine?
okay?
said-
Now you're just
The thing
like,
is,
Trump
it's,
said that
the thing
he
is,
would-
it's a
if
start.
Putin invaded the Baltic states, he would not defend.
Yeah,
them.
like that's basically saying.
he
take
said
'em.
no. What he said was if states and governments are not meeting the requirements of the NATO alliance, then he won't go and protect them. I honestly don't. I think that's
For-
But that's
for those
breaking
of
a
you-
treaty.
For those of you who don't know, the NATO alliance requires that 1 to 2% of GDP is spent on military budgets. Most European countries spend around half of GDP on military budgets, and henceforth, John is saying that they're not meeting their NATO-required military spending.
We spend 4% on of our GDP.
Okay.
on our NATO
We
budget.
spend 3%.
No, we spend 4. We spend more than that.
okay. So
It's an
So we're
obscenely
meeting our-
large amount
so
of
we're-
money.
we're meeting our requirements. Okay.
It's an unnecessary large amount of money. It's to be
I
spent
would
on something.
disagree.
Well, the
It's
chairman of the
wasted.
Joint Chiefs says that if the military had control of their own budget, they could cut spending by 30%.
Which they should. It's
Um,
wasted on the small like shipbuilding yards in states because of
That's
the
correct.
districts want their.
the military-industrial complex, as Mr.
It's a
Eisenhower put
complete
it.
waste now.
I think we should talk a little bit about the exit polls that came out. I think that'd be
Yeah, that's a great
Alright.
exit for the episode.
And let's leave some time for the ballot questions as well.
Well, I don't think we have enough time for that left, so maybe next time.
so.
Um,
Something that I found really surprising in the exit polls that I saw is that a majority of voters thought that the government should either move in a more liberal direction or stay the same place it is. And yet 27% of those voters vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's.
I thought that was very interesting because
I feel like the hate for Hillary was the whole reason.
Yeah.
he-
Harkens
I
back
I think
to
Trump
the
actually got some
tradition.
Bernie voters, honestly.
yeah, I was surprised about that too.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would.
I felt
And
like
I
a lot of
guess
Bernie
it's the
voters just
Bernie
threw away
voters
votes.
that we
Yeah.
all love to insult so much. The ones that, no matter what, wouldn't compromise even after Hillary won the primary. The ones that kept rioting.
Even after
Still
Bernie
riding.
sold out.
Yeah, even after Bernie himself gave up. Those people.
He definitely didn't want the party to.
The people
or
who
the
just wanna
government
be
go
angry.
Trump.
Yeah,
Well, they're now
Well,
protesting on the streets.
I think it'll be very interesting to see whether or not those people take to the streets as some universities have done.
They kind of have.
They
Um,
have.
but-
They're
They
riding
already
up
have.
lines.
Well,
There's
we'll have to save that for next time. I'm Andy Tierney. This has been Cohasset Political Society's Open Forum. Thank you for tuning in.